Let's talk about voter fraud. As Republicans in Congress threaten to shut down the government unless the SAVE Act is passed, it's important to know what the SAVE Act is and the real motivation behind it. What is the SAVE Act? The SAVE Act is legislation that, if passed, would require proof of citizenship to register to vote in a federal election. It would also allow election officials who register voters without proof of citizenship to be privately sued or prosecuted. However, federal law already prohibits non-citizens from voting in presidential elections. So why is this legislation necessary? Those in favor of the act will argue that while it's technically illegal to vote, there is little to prevent that from actually happening, and that millions of non-citizens are out voting illegally. Let's look at these claims. Are non-citizens voting? The Republicans who are pushing the SAVE Act would have you believe that this is necessary because undocumented migrants are already stealing elections. Proponents of the law use voter registration numbers to bolster their claims. These numbers are in the thousands, they say. The issue is that not everyone who is identified in these so-called purges are actually guilty. In reality, the majority of these cases are just people who share a name with somebody who isn't eligible. Actual proven cases of undocumented migrants voting in federal elections are vanishingly rare. The Heritage Foundation, which has built an exhaustive voter fraud database, has identified only 21 cases of confirmed non-citizens voting in the last 44 years. Of those 21 cases, not one would have been prevented by the SAVE Act, as the few cases that were prosecuted were in states that already had similar or stricter laws, and the perpetrators falsified documents in order to register. What then is to prevent non-citizens from voting? First, all 50 states already have laws that prevent non-citizens from voting in federal elections, and it's against federal law too. The reason we don't see more of it is that it is against a non-citizen's best interest to vote illegally, especially if they are undocumented. If they vote, they are highly unlikely to change the outcome of the election, but if they get caught, they are going to face potential prison time and deportation and possibly permanent family separation. In essence, they have no incentive to vote, so they don't try. Why would they? So where is the real incentive? Why are we having this debate? According to a survey from the Center for Democracy and Civic Engagement, about 1 in 10 adult citizens, or 21.3 million eligible voters, say they either do not have or cannot present the next day their U.S. birth certificate, passport, naturalization certificate, or certificate of citizenship. Zooming in on who these people are is telling. Of those 21.3 million, 9.7 million are Democrats, 5.1 million are independents, and only 7.1 million are Republicans. Furthermore, there are 3.8 million Americans with no documentation at all, with people of color being 3 times more likely than white people to lack documents. This is a math game. If Republicans can prevent a few million people from voting who are twice as likely to vote against them as they are for them, they can change the results, and that is the real motivation. This is not about voting, it's about elections. And elections which are increasingly decided at the margins, trimming a few thousand votes here and there could literally change the results. And that is their intention. Let us be clear, the SAVE Act is not designed to keep non-citizens from voting illegally. It is designed to prevent certain citizens from voting legally. The end game isn't to prevent the election process from being subverted, it is to subvert it.